Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. If you're anything like me, you may want to get a pen and paper and take some notes because there's going to be a lot of information that we share tonight. And I'm going to try and keep it as quickly, as simple as possible, ideally to 20 to 30 minutes. But it is a hot topic. It is a very hot topic. Everyone's talking about peptides right now. If you're hearing peptides on Facebook or on socials, put a 1 in the chat. The thing that I guess is really concerning me is there's a lot of people out there not asking the important questions. What happens when you start putting these exogenous, outside, these signals into your body that's already struggling? And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. All right, so get yourself comfortable. So for those who don't know me, my name is Rhonda Muller. I'm based in Mackay up in North Queensland, Australia. And I've been in this space since 2009 and predominantly working with women and children, but families in regards to gut health, inflammation, burnout, hormones, cognitive decline, cellular stress, detoxification, yada, yada. And I love what I do. I really get a kick out of helping people reach their true potential. And so we also have a guest on tonight as well, Sue Watson. And you'll be hearing from Sue very shortly, but a retired personal trainer, a wellness coach, and she absolutely helps, loves supporting people as well in regards to helping them with their health, their fitness, getting real results. And she's, a person who walks the talk. She has real life experience. So let's get into it. So if we're following the trends, and I'm not a trendsetter at all, but I do like to know what's happening in the world. And what I often ask, is this really a trend or is it a shift? And when we're looking at the statistics in regards to longevity, you can see there in regards to longevity. And I apologize, that's dropped off the screen a little bit, but when longevity is exploding, right? Collagen market is booming, peptides, really heading towards like a $100 billion industry. And what this is telling me is that it's a shift because people are looking for solutions. So before we even get into peptides and things like that, let's talk about what's actually going on right now, because the reason this space is exploding is because people are really struggling. So, hands up if you think of, or even for yourself, people are dealing with chronic fatigue, brain fog, stubborn weight issues, like for me, I never had a weight issue throughout my whole life. And then perimenopause, right? Menopause kicked in. And then not that I have a weight issue, but I noticed things were shifting, right? And then who do you know with gut issues, inflammatory markers or inflammation, injuries that just won't heal, your dodgy ankle, dodgy knee, these things, hormonal imbalances, fertility issues, all these things, people that are struggling, or they're noticing that they're aging faster than they should be, yeah? And the most frustrating part, they're often being told everything looks normal. They go to the doctor, they're getting all these tests done, and everything's saying, the doctors are saying, nothing to see here. And when you feel like something's not quite right, or you feel like something's wrong, and you're told there's nothing wrong, that's where people really start looking elsewhere. Now, this is really where peptides come in. Peptides are being positioned as the future, the smarter option, the thing that finally works. And I can't disagree with that, because I've been in the peptide industry since 2009. We've been looking at this in regards to the gut-brain connection, cognitive and all those different types of things. But your body runs on communication, right? Hormones are the messenger, and peptides are pretty much the smallest signaling molecules that are made from amino acids. So some hormones are peptides, but not all peptides are hormones. Think of it like this. Hormones are like emails. Yeah. So peptides are like sending a text message, short, sharp, telling the body what to do. And peptides aren't just adding something, they're telling your body to do something. So either repairing, burning fat, building collagen, regulating your hormones, reducing inflammation. And this is when we see, why people are getting really interested. So instead of just taking a supplement, and I'm not sure if you can see in the background, I sell a truckload of supplements, right? When we're lacking something, when we're depleted in something, same with probiotics. I do probiotic therapy. I look at the microbiome. I do, comprehensive stool analysis. When we're lacking something, we put this in, right? So because of, instead of taking a supplement, it feels like you're switching the system back on, right? And this is where I personally get cautious, because the question isn't, do peptides work? The question is, what happens when we start putting these signals into the body that's already struggling? Especially if you or someone you love has an autoimmune condition, if they have gut issues, like, for example, celiac disease or, IBS or leaky gut, all these things, chronic inflammation, or detox pathways. This is something I'm very passionate about. Think of MTHFR, yeah? Long-term stress, burnout. We've all been there. I've burnt out twice, recovering my son from autism, right? Having a clinic, husband working away. That's how I got into the health industry, because I wasn't getting the answers, right? The body is already dysregulated. So if the communication system is already off, does adding more signals fix the problem or just override it? We're looking at Band-Aid solutions. I'm not into Band-Aids. Don't get me wrong, they come in handy, but I look at the big picture as to why, right? There's another layer. Where are these coming from in regards to these synthetic injectable peptides? Where are they coming from? Are they regulated? Do you actually know what is in those little vials? Because this is where people are starting to feel really uneasy, and why I get bombarded with messages. Rhonda, can you take a look at this? Rhonda, what does this look like, right? We all remember what happened in 2020. This is why trust has eroded, and this is why people are asking for an alternative natural solution, something that they can trust, and why they reach out to people who they know they like, they follow on a regular basis. So now we're getting to the real questions. Do we keep adding things into the body, or do we start asking the body why it's not responding in the first place, right? So take it to make it, the activation company. This is a company that I've aligned myself with over 7 years ago. And the reason I aligned with it, right, is because, one, I can't get the same results using food or supplementation. And at the risk of sounding like I'm full of myself, I'm very good at what I do, because I walk the talk, and I would not incorporate anything or recommend anything that I haven't utilized myself, with either myself or my family. But because it also aligns with my values, it's transparent, it's robust science, it's all natural, holistic, and clean products. The activation company, it's called LifeVantage. We activate our bodies to make antioxidants, proteins, enzymes, peptides, all the things you need for optimal health. And what really just floats my boat is the independent studies, human clinical studies, cell studies, over 115 of them, more than 5,000 genes that are being activated. That just blows my mind. This is not supplementation. This is reawakening your body to work as nature intended. And more than 15 patents issued and pending on the products. What I'm going to be really focusing on tonight is these two products, the science and the glow stack, right? So we call this the healthy glow stack, 2 products. The first one is Protandem NRF2. It's just 5 herbs. It's 1 tablet a day. And there's over 30 independent studies on this product, not the individual ingredients. And I've been taking this 1 a day for over 7 years. And the reason I actually got started was because I burnt myself out. Put a 2 in the chat if you burnt yourself out. If you were absolutely fatigued, like I could not get into my own clinic. My hair was falling out. I'd get up and do the dishes. I have to lay back down. I was absolutely spent. This is not going to be the same result for everyone. But for me, after 3 days, I felt like I was back in my 20s. Everything was just lining up. And the reason for that is because these 5 herbs took over 40 years to formulate. But it has the synergy of putting these 5 herbs together in a particular formulation, a particular recipe that makes it 18 times more effective than if you were taking the individual ingredients. And that's exactly what I was doing. I was taking all of these and a truckload of other stuff and still could not get my energy back to where it needed to go. I'd get up and go for a walk, I'd crash. Any kind of stress come in, I'd crash. And I was getting really frustrated. And I'm really blessed to be surrounded by a truckload of friends and holistic doctors, naturopaths, etc. So I had a disposal of products available to me, but I wasn't getting the same results as this one product, 1 tablet a day. And the reason it works, right, so is we're activating. Now, remember what we said earlier, peptides are the signals that tell the body what to do, right? Injectable peptides are often used to try and reduce inflammation, speed up recovery, improve repair, influence pathways, right? That essentially trying to send a message into the system. But the difference here, right? Adding a signal from the outside, often synthetic, what this is doing, what we're doing, this 1 tablet a day, we're turning on the body's own defense system. We're reawakening your NRF2 pathway to start making your own antioxidants, yeah? Which pretty much is making your own antioxidants like glutathione, SOD, catalase. I'm not going to go right into the science, but that is way more powerful than supplementing or eating high levels of antioxidant foods like blueberries, vitamin C, oranges, red wine, right? All these different types of things. So this is reawakening your antioxidant system. This is foundational. It's not forcing the system to do anything. It's just restoring the system. It's reawakening. It is helping you put all that inflammation, that oxidative stress that we start to create within ourselves because we don't have the antioxidants to neutralize them anymore as we're aging, right? So if oxidative stress is high, no signal, peptide or otherwise, works properly long term. So if we're putting an injectable peptide, right, sending signals in, NRF2 is turning your system back on so those signals actually work, not forcing it with a chemical peptide. Does that make sense? We're activating by taking something natural, functional food to reawaken. We're not injecting a synthetic peptide in. We're reawakening the body. So the second product, which is the liquid collagen, right? I drink this. I actually swallow my NRF2 tablet with my liquid collagen, 50 ml bottle every single day. And I'm going to touch on why. So why collagen? So it is the structural protein that makes up 25 to 35% of all your protein in your body. And the body produces collagen protein from the amino acids that you take in through food. This process starts to steeply decline around the age of 25 to 30. Same with your antioxidant system. It's why they say you hit 30, over the hill. Everything starts to drop off. That internal antioxidant system that makes your own antioxidants, your internal collagen system that makes collagen. Remember what it was like when you were a squishy, teenager, squishy 20-year-old? It's because we were making our collagen, right? And so leading to a large reduction in collagen density, that's where we start to get the wrinkles, the joint issues, sagging, all of these other things. So the point of difference with this liquid collagen is You compare it to a whole host of other collagens. I used to sell practitioner range collagen in clinic. It used to be I could never keep it on the shelf. It would fly off the shelf. I had a health food store. But this has 10 different collagen peptides. It's portable. It's ready to drink. It replenishes your collagen. So it's a supplement. It's replenishing. Many others also do that. But this, it activates collagen as well. And I'm going to touch on that a little bit down the track. It maintains collagen. I'll also touch on that. It's marine. It doesn't taste fishy. Rest assured, it's apples, berries. It's absolutely delicious. Even my grandson loves it. I'm Babushka. He calls me Baba. He always says, can you leave me a little bit? Because he loves the taste of it. It's delicious. It's hydrolyzed, meaning we can absorb anywhere from 90% of it. It's 5 grams of collagen, and it's portable, ready to drink, activates superoxide dismutase, again, SOD, antioxidant. It's liquid, bioavailable, and 10 different collagen peptides, right? You're supplementing, you're putting that in, and it is super clean. If you have the Think Dirty app, I highly recommend you have a look at it or download it. I think it's free, don't quote me, but this shows the level of toxicity. Anything that is orange or red, especially if it's red, do not even gift it. Put it in the bin because it is severely toxic. Now, getting into the 10 different collagen peptides, I don't have enough time to go through it all here tonight, but I want to reassure you, not one practitioner range collagen that I ever sold had this many. I hand on my heart. It does, and it was powder. So the bioavailability was anywhere from 10 to 30% that you would absorb. We are absorbing 90% of this. So 10 different collagen peptides, not just one, multiple that support skin, joints, cartilage, blood vessels, connective tissue, nerve, structural. It's huge. Now, remember, some injectable peptides out there are trying to stimulate collagen production. I get people sending me stuff to have a look at it, right? But the difference, that's targeting one pathway. What we're doing here is providing multiple building blocks across the whole system. So instead of sending a signal to make collagen, we're actually giving the body what it needs to build collagen. Injectables try to switch on collagen. Yeah, this gives your body the materials to make it everywhere it's needed. I want to really bring to your attention these two here. Type 18, lines all blood vessels, regulates bloodstream, surrounding tissues, yeah? This one here, spinal, the spinal nerves, chronic pain, central nervous system, cardiovascular, but also cognitive. How many people do you know with cognitive decline? This is way more than hair, skin, and nails. It is not just a vanity product. I used to sell it in clinic for gut health. That's why I got onto collagen, the gut-brain connection. Did you know that our eyes are 90% collagen? Our bones are 40% collagen. It is absolutely vital for liver detoxification, yeah, sexual health, so much more. But gut health is absolutely vital. Now, we activate, we replenish, we maintain. That's the point of difference with this collagen. Activate, this is huge. This is why I use and recommend this liquid collagen in clinic and pretty much to anyone that has a heartbeat. I kid you not. Where this gets really interesting, there are 5 key collagen types that your body already makes, and we're going to reawaken it. We're supplementing with 10 collagen peptides. Now we're activating, reawakening again. So type 1, 2, 3, 7, 13, skin, joints, cartilage, gut lining, organs, connective tissue, structure, repair. The injectable peptides out there stimulating collagen pathways, they're trying to do this as well. This is functional food, people. Ruby red quinoa, berries, citrus, heirloom citrus. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, this is turning on your body's ability to make it again like you were when you were a squishy 20-year-old. We're not forcing the body to do anything. So I'm not going to go right into this, but collagen density increased by 100%. Reduction of crow's feet, reduction 22%. Skin roughness decreased by 10%. Yeah, this one here, we're decreasing enzymes that break down your collagen by 79%. So this is the big maintain part. We're increasing antioxidants, SOD by 27 times. Yeah, epidermal barrier. This is why we've got beauty therapists, hairdressers all jumping in on this significantly. Everyone's stocking this as a supplement and an activator. But look at this, we're increasing this by 5 times. And this moisture of the skin increased by 18%. And the catalase, again, an endogenous and internal antioxidant, increased by 202%. And the elastin gene activation increased by 18%. I know it sounds very sciencey, but what this is telling you is that it is an award winner for a reason. Yeah. Collagen density increased by 100%. You can see here, the yellow shows the collagen density. It is significant. And again, independent science. What this is showing here, when you put these two products together, the NRF2, the Protandim NRF2 and the liquid collagen, it is mitigating the effects of cellular stress. Lots of big scientific words, but in a nutshell, what it means is that we're turning down the stress response, decreasing gene expression, yeah, significantly. So anyone that's a big science geek or anything and you want more information, please go back to the person who cared enough to invite you to this. Or if you're watching the recording, yeah, go back to them and they can give you more information. But look at this. This is significant. We are reducing inflammatory markers by 97%, 88%. Yeah, these are just huge. When we look at this, inflammatory signaling markers, they are the messengers in the body that drive pain, swelling, aging, tissue breakdown, poor recovery, like people that go to the gym and they feel like they need a week to get over it. Yeah. The ones I've circled, the interleukins and the interleukin 8, interleukin 1B, interleukin 6, the health professionals, you know, that work in my field, like all the functional medicine, the people who are doing, you know, we've got orthopedic doctors, we've got chiropractors, you name it, or massage therapists, spinal flow practitioners, they're all in it because they understand the science of what's happening here. But when these are elevated, the body is in constant state of stress and inflammation. And this is the key. You cannot heal properly when your body is inflamed. It's like instead of having a little pilot light that arcs up when you've got a viral or bacterial infection or whatever, an injury, into a flamethrower, it doesn't come back down. You're always in this inflamed environment. And where the peptides come into the conversation, they are injectable peptides that are being used specifically to try and influence these exact pathways. But they're all being used to try and reduce inflammation, speed up healing, improve recovery, that cellular signaling. But the difference is they're trying to target these pathways directly by adding an external, an exogenous signal. What we're doing, right, instead of asking, well, why do we need to override the inflammation? Why do we need this Band-Aid? Why is the inflammation there to begin with? What this slide is showing you is that when you support the body naturally, everything starts to come down into homeostasis, right? We're not forcing anything. What we're doing is restoring the body's ability to, one, communicate and regulate those signals itself. Think of it like this. If your house is on fire and you just keep calling the fire brigade over and over, instead of figuring out what's causing the fire, do you think they're going to get peeved off with you? We need to establish what's going on. This is why longevity, recovery, and the real results really start coming in. Yeah. So this is not just about looking better. It's about actually getting the body to function properly. All right. So real results. I'm going to hand over to Sue here. Because Sue, she worked in this space in regards to injuries and, fitness and having to back up all the time because she was a gym owner. Yeah, she ran a gym and she's worked with men and women every single day, especially around all of this fitness, hormones, the whole thing. So Sue, if you're on the call, darling, if you can just, share a little bit about what your journey's been like, what you're seeing, not only with you and your family, but with some of the women that you're helping and supporting right now.
Hi, everyone. I'll just say thank you for joining us tonight. And thank you, Rhonda, for inviting me to share my story. Back in the day, I flogged myself to get that kind of physique. And it wasn't even truly right there when I competed in this event. I did 2 comps and I had to maintain that figure for a period of 6 weeks. So by the end of the second event, I looked like a starved rat pretty much, because I had to keep depleting to the diet was horrible and all the rest of it. So between training myself, competing, owning a gym, looking after clients morning and afternoon, which, it just ended up being long days. So as you can imagine, it was torture on the body, torture on the mind. So I ended up burning myself out pretty bad. And in the process of burning myself out and coming out and trying to reverse diet, which is something you do as a bodybuilder to reintroduce foods, etc., back into your life, I was also diagnosed with autoimmune. And so between that and all of the injuries as well, because believe it or not, you do get injuries doing this sport. I had torn my shoulder. I'd done all sorts of things. So these injuries and everything, they just piled up to the point where I wasn't in a good place. And knee injury was the next thing. And it was you who reached out to me after I ended up having to have a partial knee replacement because I'd shredded my meniscus. And that was not repairable through the normal ways of, doing any sort of rehab. So I had to have a partial knee replacement. And in that very same year of having a partial knee replacement, I broke my leg on the other side. Now, just going back a little bit, I water skied, I ran, I did motorcycle riding, all sorts of things. I never injured myself like to that point, and then to have 2 things in 1 year happen, something was really going wrong. And it was my bone density. And if it wasn't for you reaching out and being persistent, I probably would have just kept passing this on, going, no, I've got this handled myself, because I was using collagen, but it was the powdered form, and I'd tried heaps of them as well. And I was on anti-inflammatories, and I was on things to help with my autoimmune, and then I was on other things to help combat the side effects of all of these things. So, it just nothing was working. So when you stepped in and said I could help, I tried. And I've been on the products now for 15 months, and I will not stop taking them. I am seriously, like, the pain I had in my leg, in my knee after the surgery, it wouldn't go away. I knew how to do all the rehab and all the rest of it, and I was following all the protocols you're supposed to, but the pain never went away, and I never got full range of motion. And every time I was walking and all the rest of it, because I took walking back up again and, gym and all the rest of it, and I was still getting a lot of pain. So it has now stopped, that the pain's gone, but also the autoimmune issue that I had has gone to the point where I don't need the medication anymore. So, all of these little things, just that one little yellow pill and that little bottle, that 50 ml bottle taken every day, has completely changed my life. And I can tell you now, I wouldn't stop taking it. And anyone who's on this call who's sitting on the fence, don't sit on the fence anymore. It's just get on it.
Yeah.
My husband is another one.
Yeah, I was going to say your husband, yeah.
Yeah, so he's ex-military, and he also dirt bike rider, never really injured himself as such, but he did accept, for the type of work he did in the military, also caused issues with his back, etc., back and hips and all the rest of it. So, he's been on anti-inflammatories and whatnot. He's pestered me after seeing what the collagen did and the NRF2 did for me, and he has pestered and pestered and pestered. I had him just on the NRF2 to start with, but bit the bullet, put him on to the collagen. Now, he had alopecia through stress. He lost all of his hair, and then a job change and all the rest of it, his hair started growing back. There were also patches that never grew back. Now, since he's been taking the collagen, all of his hair's back. So, I mean, everywhere. He had still little patches here and there, and he had a piece always in his moustache that didn't grow back, and he had another patch in his beard. Not that he grows one, but all of his hair's grown back. And he's actually got to the point, and he said, how can I slow the hair growth down? Because every time he comes home from work, which is like 2 weeks out of the month, because he's a FIFO worker, guess who's got a hairdressing? Me. So amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is extraordinary. And I was the same. My hair was so thin. It kept falling out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And now everyone comments on my hair. I'm just, but wow, what an extraordinary story. I did not know your husband's full story. Wow, that's extraordinary. And he obviously loves you very much to trust you to cut his hair. So yeah, well done.
Yep, nothing like clippers, hey?
Yeah, that's it. And I think you were, so you work with quite a few people, but I'll have to get you back on another day when we've got a bit more time to share some more stories, because I know that, some of the people that you support, it's extraordinary. So thank you so much. So I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for the
invite. I know you've had a busy day. So thank you so much, darling. All right. So I just want to mention that it's not just my story. It's not just Sue's story. But there are so many people, before and afters. So you can see here, 5 months, a story, these pictures tell 1,000 words, don't they? Look at Betty. I've actually met Betty in person, and this is within 5 months of being on these 2 products. So many before and afters. Look at this hair. This is what we were talking about for myself and also for Doug, Sue's husband. Extraordinary. But elasticity. Yeah. And then we've got also cellulite. This made me laugh so much because, they were like, we found the lady with that actual image. And, but with the men as well, it's not just women, right? The before and afters. And then, but also in regards to what I was talking about, the gut-brain connection, mental health, this is a big one. I hear this all the time. So it's way more than what you can see externally. It's also internally. This woman was really struggling. This is everyday function. Really struggled to make a fist, to be able to pick things up, open jars. This was in 36 days. So this is all around what we're doing. So if you would like to build a business around the science, if you're thinking of, all the people that need to hear about this, and you're like us and just want to be able to support people and help people, we want to hear from you. because there is a way for you to do this. And this business, as you could see with the trends, what I was sharing before, right? The global market was estimated around 4.8 billion in 2018, just the collagen market, and jumped to 11.6 billion in 2020, anticipated to grow 23.3 billion in just 2 years. Then look at the peptide side of things. Estimated 196 billion last year, and they're projected to reach 411 billion by the year 2033. If you're like us and you're thinking everyone needs to hear about this because you're concerned about what's in those vials, about loved ones that you're thinking that they need to hear about an option, then we want to hear from you, because this company is publicly traded, 100% transparent. You can buy shares in this company, right? 100% debt-free, untapped market. Over 60,000 active consultants worldwide. That's stuff all, really. We haven't even reached 1% of the market here in Australia and New Zealand. So we're activating wellness inside and out. And while most companies simply sell, products, commodities, LifeVantage is a world leader in activation. There is no one else doing activation that is 100% natural, holistic, functional food with independent, robust science. Over 30 peer-reviewed studies. Yeah, that's on the NRF2. And it's scientifically proven to reduce oxidative stress. That's that free radical damage, that cellular rusting, aging by 40% in 30 days. If you want to see the studies, again, go back to the person who cared enough to get you on this call or to watch this recording. Activates over 600 survival genes, including glutathione. And if you've been watching and listening, what was it last year about glutathione, how acetaminophen depletes your glutathione like that, you want to know about this product. Protects the DNA of your cells and pivotal for inflammatory markers and immune. We can go on and on. There are studies, this is on PubMed. NRF2 is the guardian of health span and the gatekeeper of species longevity. We are extending life with this product. Not my words, that's an independent study. So what you can be doing is you can actually either get started as a customer or you can get started with an affiliate link. You can become a distributor and join the LifeVantage movement of what we're doing. You can take charge of your life. There's lots of different ways to go about this, but I just want to bring this to your attention, right? You've got the early adapters, which is Australia. Australia and New Zealand, this is exactly where we are right now, the early adapters. And then this is the US. We have not reached momentum. Like I said, 1% of the population still has not heard about these products. They haven't even heard of activation versus synthetic ways of, trying to get this. You can't get the same results. So how do you get started? Well, we pretty much get you in where you fit in. Up to 30%, 37% savings if you want to get an affiliate link, if you want to share it with other people. You don't need to be a health professional. You just need to care. You just want to be able to help people. You get shareable discount codes. You get access to event passes, personalized websites, apps, back office, management, tools, training, the whole thing. This is just 3 of the packs that you can get started on. And these are all activation products. We haven't even spoken about the GLP-1 activator, yeah? The GLP-1s and, the injectables that they're forcing this in, the injectables. We're doing everything naturally, yeah? So you can actually monetize your glow up as a LifeVantage consultant, as a LifeVantage affiliate. There's lots of different ways, 9 different ways to get paid: customer sales, personal sales, fast track bonuses, mentor bonuses, level commissions, yada, yada. I'm not going to go into it. And the sky's the limit. You can see in regards to, you want to get your products paid for, well, then potentially this is the level that you can get to where you get your products for free. Or if you want to start covering the home loan, right? This is all US dollars, by the way. Start covering the home loan. or, you know, the fuel prices, all these different things, there are different ways that you can add another stream of income. You don't have to do it full-time. You can do it part-time like I do. So again, we just get you in where you fit in. If you don't want to do the business, that's fine. You just get started as a customer. You get started and activate your body to reach its full potential. So it's a 30-day money back guarantee, 30-day supply. You can either do a one-time purchase. I don't recommend it because we need one bottle per decade that we've been on the planet. That's what the studies show for everything to come back into homeostasis. But a one-time purchase for those two products, or you can do a subscribe and save. Now, there's no lock-in contract. You can stop, start, change anytime you like. Or as a consultant, you can see significant decrease in the price, significant discount, right? So I just want to say thank you so much for your time. If you do have any questions, please go back to the person who invited you, and they can help you get started. They can go over any questions you may have. If you want to talk to any health professionals or anything like that, that can be achieved as well. So I just want to say thank you for your time. What's the best that could happen? You've got everything to gain and nothing to lose. So again, thank you so much for your time. I hope you found this helpful, and yeah, enjoy your evening. And I'm going to see if I can